So, Tomb Raider got a remaster, and today I want to talk about some of the experiences that I could collect. So, the remaster is of the games Tomb Raider 1, 2 and 3. And these games are already quite old. Tomb Raider 1 actually got released in 1996, Tomb Raider 2 in 1997 and Tomb Raider 3 in 1998. And I think that the remaster of these games actually shows a pivotal moment in the ongoing efforts to preserve and also rejuvenate video game history. So I think that this remastered version not only introduces this iconic game in a new light to the players that have already played it, but I think it can also approach a new player base, people that have never played this game before. And I want to also emphasize this is actually a remaster. This is not a remake, so you get most of the original experience with this and also some quality of life changes. And there's also some changes in game that at first seem maybe a bit minor, but especially when you have played the original games you feel them instantly. And I want to talk about these experiences, how it was for me also to play this game after such a long time. It is needless to say that there are graphical improvements, but I want to point out how beautiful it really is. So when you get into the game, it actually looks how you as a kid have imagined the game to look. Oftentimes when I play some games from the past, from my childhood, I get the feeling of, did it really look like this? Were the graphics really like that? Because in my mind it was so beautiful, and now you actually live this experience of a beautiful game because you can just switch between the old graphics and newer graphics with the click of a button and see all the different improvements, all the different added details, and how beautiful it really can be as a reimagined version. And it also feels just modern. Regarding the improved graphics, I just want to talk about this experience. When you start up the game, you are in this initial environment, for example in Tomb Raider 1 in the cave, and you just see the footprints of the wolves, you see the walls, you see the snow gracefully falling to the ground. It just looks so beautiful. If you go up to the environment, if you go to the different textures, it just feels so vivid and lively, and I love this a lot. Also how they have added some of these 3D aspects and did not stick only to the blocky layout of this, but combined both approaches to make this game visually more appealing and just make it feel more alive. Seeing a skybox while fighting the T-Rex just adds something that I didn't even realize was missing in the first place, because you were used so much to the old ways that you really start to appreciate the beauty with the new one. Then the old experience was also kept FPS wise. You needed to have additional third-party software to maybe uncap or have a better experience, but like this you really have the opportunity to experience it fluently. And in this example I want to point out how the sprites have changed. In the original game you just have these 2D items flying around in a 3D environment, and now you have this integration really as an item which is on the ground, which can be picked up. And as you can see, also there's an action indicator, which is a good addition because it serves both the veterans of the game and also the newcomers of the game with clarity in the sense of the interactions. And it's not sacrificing on the game's challenge at all. No, it just gives you really this prompt, hey, there's something that you can interact with. And there's also other improvements that we already know. For example, in Tomb Raider 2 and also Tomb Raider 3, you were able to perform the mid-air roll, which was not available in Tomb Raider 1, but now it actually also got added to Tomb Raider 1. Just as also adding the possibility of crawling out of crawling spaces by grabbing on directly to the ledge, which was only before possible in Tomb Raider 5. And because of the FPS changes and also some animation changes, it just feels so much better when you also use the jump button. And if you go into the settings regarding the controls, you can also switch between the old controls, the so-called tank controls, and the modern controls, which are based on the LAU controls, where you can use your camera more freely and also move your character more freely. But I have to say, in this regard, I do not feel like it fits that game that well. The modern controls feel quite Yankee, especially the camera, which oftentimes lags behind and has a problem of being adjusted properly with this grid-based system that the game has. I just have to say that it is behind what I would have expected it to be. difficulty, but there's no problem in switching between these two modes, and it is great to enjoy the game anyways. In the same point, to modernize the game, one decision that was made is adding health bars to the big bosses. I don't think this is any negative change, but I also don't feel like this is a crazy great amazing change that adds a lot of value to the game. I think modern players just expect this health bar to be there, and yeah, just wanted to bring that up. In the same efforts to modernize the game, they have also standardized the saving system, and now you can save in all 3 games from the menu. That means on whatever platform you play, you will now have the same saving system. Another thing that they have changed is when you have the in-game dialogue and the characters are speaking, you have a more realistic mouth movement, or you have mouth movement at all compared to the original games. So you actually see the characters talk, give facial expressions during these cutscenes, which is really cool and great. And the last point that I want to add regarding the modernization is also the adding of subtitles. Great addition, especially for people with ear impairment. One of the biggest points is that these games are compatible with modern consoles, and that you can play them on PC, you can play it on Switch, you can play it on PlayStation, on Xbox, and so on and so on. For example, I have to say it is amazing that this remaster does not only feature the main games but also the DLCs. So you have Unfinished Business, The Golden Mask, and also the Lost Artifact that you can play. You don't need to download anything else, but you have these games included already in this bundle. Especially if you wanted to get a legal copy of these games, that was quite hard, and they were also not available across all the different platforms. Overall, this remaster feels like a love letter to all the people who have played these games originally and want to re-experience this in a more modern setting, in a more compatible setting. I'm just very happy that you don't have to download any other things anymore, such as third-party software, to make sure that your game is going. You don't have the problem that maybe Windows is telling you, oh my god, this game is not working. No, we have now a supported game for the future, and this is just amazing really to have. And what also feels like a love letter to the community is the adding of a photo mode, because Tomb Raider is a game that actually has quite the active virtual photographer community, and it is also interesting how a game that is already as old as Tomb Raider can be put into so many different settings, put into so many different lights, renders, and so on and so on. And now with the integrated photo mode in the game, this can also be done in a more accessible setting, and it's great to see that people actually have thought about the community and who is still playing these games. Personally, I have a critique point, and it is that I would have wished for a bit more. Even though I am super happy for all the different reasons that I have stated, I think a little bit adding of content would have spiced this game up enormously. Another game that has done this greatly is actually Crash Bandicoot with the remaster that it received, and for some reason it just feels as if you not only playing the original game ported into a new setting, no, but a very polished version. And I just would have loved for some little hidden details here and there to be added, which just reward you for exploring what you already know. But this is really just a minor point, and I would love to hear also your thoughts, guys. So feel free to write down a comment and just go into the dialogue with me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until the next time, bye bye.